All right. Welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast, episode 118. That's 118. 118 episodes so far. I am your host, Supreme King, and joined with me as always is my co-host, and his name is.
It's your guy on Mazes with his cat in the background acting wild. So if you hear me out, that's why.
How do you enjoy the rainy day today?
Ugh, I mean, it was fine, I guess, but I could have went without rain. I didn't need it.
The traffic was a little hectic at night
Yeah,
tonight, earlier tonight, but I made it home safe. We're here to do another weekly episodic episode of gaming. There's a lot of cool things. I actually thought we weren't gonna have that much of a quality show today because I really was almost about to say maybe we should just do it next week when there's more things going on. But lo and behold, at the last minute,
me
a
too.
few things a few things happened that might give us a little bit of time to talk about, and we could jump right into it. The very first thing that I
What?
think we could talk about, there's a lot of videos that went out earlier today that I've seen of people reacting very interestingly to an Xbox ad that just went out today that piggybacks off of something that was discussed, I guess, behind the scenes under
Oh,
Xbox earlier this year or at some point, because there was the story that Sarah Bond had a meeting and she was explaining to everybody that the term was used, or the phrase was used, every screen is an Xbox, and it kind of went towards their way of explaining how they're trying to be like some weird third party brand all of a sudden. And it went quiet for a while. We hadn't heard from them at all on this topic. It was just more people trying to speculate whether or not there was going to be another big game that was going to go to PlayStation, like Indiana Jones, right? And lo and behold, earlier today, they released this ad that said everything is an Xbox. Well, the ad said this is an Xbox, and it just kind of featured a bunch of stuff, right? Shout out to the Rogue Ally and the Rogue Ally X. That was something that I saw in this ad. So that I do appreciate their partnership. It does
I
benefit me.
saw, I saw a bento box. Like the
Yeah,
Chinese restaurant said, "This is a bento box."
yeah. They showed a laptop. They showed the phone clips, some stuff that you normally see. And then they did technically show the actual systems. But the way this was going, I was expecting them to just straight up flash a PlayStation and a Nintendo at that point. They might as well had done it. But what are your thoughts on this marketing? How do you feel about this marketing? What do you think?
I I don't know. I feel like in one way you could be pushing you already have the stuff to play Xbox, everyone should play. But it also comes off as you don't need to buy our console. You already got one. That's
Yeah,
off to me. It's like, why buy our console? You can just use your phone.
yeah. So that's the main thing that everybody else was saying, to the point where I've seen some of the most hardcore of hardcore channels pretty much abandon Xbox. Some of them are aligned themselves with just being either PC. There's a couple of channels that I used to follow that pretty much just abandoned their whole YouTube because of Xbox when they were primarily an Xbox channel. Um, and so I wonder if they're aware of this, but it looks like the marketing is like negative marketing in a way. It doesn't come off positive to the fan base. Um,
Yeah.
it's mixed
Like,
reactions underneath their actual video that they released on YouTube. But
like, so
yeah,
what
go
I think
ahead.
would be a better, I don't know, like a different kind of ad, if it was something like, the person's playing Xbox right at home, and then something's like, hey, you gotta go do something. So it shows them continuing playing Xbox on like a variety of different things. So it's like they're using their laptop to play, and then while they're on the bus, they can use like the Rogue Ally, or they can use their phone, and then they're like at grandma's house or something, and they're able to just pull it up on the TV and everything to be on some like you can Xbox like anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Almost like to heavily promote like, you know, you don't have to be stuck at home, and you don't need to buy some random specific handheld and everything. Xbox is accessible for all, something like that, as opposed to it comes off as just you don't need to buy our console. That's like it's I don't know, like I feel like they could have done it differently. It still probably would have given that message of the, you don't need to buy our console, but I feel like they should have aimed more towards like you can always play Xbox wherever you are, instead of everything you have is an Xbox.
Yeah, I remember when the Series X was like relatively brand new, and it was getting ready to release. They had it where they showed people playing with the phone clip and the laptop, but distinctively remember Phil Spencer saying everything will still look and play best on Series X. And now they don't necessarily say that. They just kind of let that go. And at one point also, the be all end all was Game Pass. We've never seen them create any type of marketing that did not show Game Pass in it. And I think this is one of their major marketing that's more recent that literally didn't say anything about Game Pass at
Oh,
all.
I didn't even think about that. That would
Um
have even been better if like each thing was like,
mhm.
like Game Pass is everywhere is the message, instead of your Xbox is everywhere.
Yeah,
Oh,
so Game Pass was not even mentioned at all.
I didn't even catch that.
So it kind of it they turned their strategy. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that because at one point they was like, "Yo, we got so many Game Pass subscribers, and Game Pass is the future, and it's this and it's that," and it really was just not mentioned. And it's strange to me because that was the one thing that I didn't understand when they took the 4 games that they took to move them off of Xbox or to extend them from just Xbox. I was like, well, these games were like, soldiers of Game Pass basically, and now they're just not. Especially Hi-Fi Rush, right? But it looks like now it's possible that Game Pass might not be their focus anymore. I mean, I don't think a lot of people has really stated that, but that's huge if that's the case because at one point for 2 or 3 years, that was like it got to the point where they didn't even explain to you what the game was, what you should be buying. It was just like just get Game Pass. Just get Game Pass. It's like even if you wanted a tutorial on how to like play a certain game some way, just like, don't worry about it, it's just in Game Pass. That was like almost their response. It was just like, well, that doesn't help me. You know what I mean? It's like if you was to go into a mall and you're just like, I'm trying to find this one store. And it was like, just go in the mall. It's like, well, I'm at the mall. I'm just trying to find the store. It's like, no, just go into the mall. It was almost like that, you know? But they're not mentioning it at all. And I'm not understanding really overall what their messaging is, period. Because even with this, it sort of conflicts with something like Game Pass. Or it conflicts with, some of the things they've said only a few years ago. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. It still comes off like they're trying to just get as much money from you as a consumer, but that's the part that was always weird to me because I felt like, well, you are the most richest, most powerful company basically. You don't necessarily need to, compromise your brand at all. I can think of a lot of companies that are infinitely smaller than you. That like one of them I'm going to talk about in a second, which is Nintendo, that will do everything they can in their power to protect their brand. Right? Nintendo will destroy you if you try to compromise their brand and play. Imagine somebody come out on a channel or something and say, "This is a Nintendo," and did the same thing. Like Nintendo will be like ready to pull the gat out,
No,
basically.
they'd sue all the things that were mentioned, even if they didn't even mean to be in the video.
Exactly. Right.
Um, if Xbox doesn't focus on Game Pass, and it seems like they're not focusing on their console, what are they gonna focus on?
Well, that brings me to the next topic. Well, the last thing I'm gonna mention about this is I really just do not know what's going on with them, but I did buy a console, and I do have a lot of Game Pass codes that I haven't used yet, and I do plan on using them. But for me, I never looked at the Rogue Ally as an Xbox. I looked at it as an extension of just my library. They mentioned the VR system in like one of their like ads. I do want to get one of those eventually, but I just gotta say for them, they just kind of have to focus on one thing that they need to like make their audience really understand. Like this is what you get from Xbox, you know, that you would not get from anywhere else. That's what's going to actually sell for them. Because if you can get anything from them that you would get anywhere else, you would just simply get it somewhere else. You wouldn't even get it from them. And a lot of the places that they were showing was coming from like things you can do on PC. And it's like, well, you know, these people will just pirate your stuff. I don't know. It's like that's Nintendo's worst nightmare this whole time. Is like, yo, do you really want to advertise like 1,000 ways to play on PC? Because one of the ways to play is through piracy. Is piracy an Xbox? I don't know. But I do want to move on to the next part of this topic. Is still Xbox, because in the middle of all of this, in a recent interview with Phil Spencer, he admitted that there will be an Xbox handheld at some point. We've heard the rumors of this for a while, but I guess it's officially going to come, but it's going to be probably around 2 to 3 years from now, according to them.
Well, why? If they just said your phone is an Xbox.
Well, they just said the Rogue Ally and the Rogue Ally X is an Xbox.
Yeah, so then why do you need another Xbox? They just said.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But I might be interested in it if it's 2 or 3 years from now. If it was like next year or something, I'm not, because it does conflict with the handhelds that I have. But if the technology increases by that time and they put out something that's like the PS5 Pro of handhelds or something, I might be interested in it. I will see. But if you're talking like this year or next year, no. I would like to see what it looks like and what it brings to the table. But immediately it's going to get compared to the other PC handhelds, I'm sure. And maybe even Switch 2 or something. But I don't think it will have the appeal. So the interesting thing about it is I can compare it to the Switch 2 real quick, and then we can move on. Like, if you look at the Switch 2, despite there being an idea of continually pirating their games or something, with the Switch, you still have officially the whole idea is that you buy the Switch 2 to play Mario, Zelda, etc. The you know, those other games that they have on there that are like secondary games from off of you know, Mario titles, like Mario and Luigi Brothership and stuff. Like, you know, this is where you would play these games officially, right? With the Xbox handheld, especially with like anybody coming off of the handhelds, like they might have a Steam Deck by then. That's the most popular one. Like, how do you even sell a Xbox handheld to somebody who has a Steam Deck? I don't know, but there's a reason to buy it for other people. For the Xbox One, I don't think I would see a reason to buy it. Almost similar. I would really hope it's not a streaming thing like the PS Portal, because I don't see a reason to buy that at all. And I didn't. But yeah, Xbox handheld. What do you think? You think you would buy it?
No. Uh, and I
Hmm.
wouldn't buy it for the same reason I wouldn't buy an Xbox, and it has to do with the ad they just put out. Like, I didn't get an Xbox because it was like everything on Xbox is on PC. I should just get a PC because it has Xbox and more. And this was, before PlayStation even gave in. They started putting stuff. It was like it has Xbox and more. And in that case, why would I buy a handheld when I could get a PC handheld that can do Xbox and more? This thing would have to be like oddly like they're losing money cheap.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Right, I was like, we gotta call a spade a spade. Like, this is the industry trying to spin a negative into a positive. Where going into it back in 2020, they thought they was gonna hit a money train. They thought they was just gonna have this like endless amount of money coming from us through a bunch of live services. Remember, there was all of these what was these things called, NFTs. They was trying to do that. They was trying to call everything a metaverse, and they thought they was going to have us trapped in this like money siphoning like system, some sort of matrix that they would have created, and it did not go well at all. Nobody was even able to get anything all out of the out there to the public when it comes to like metaverses. That whole term is just gone. It's quietly just gone, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Meta turns their name back to Facebook because they tried to get ahead of the game by calling themselves that. And it's like it was just this thing they all came up with that no one cared about, right? And it trickles down to this because now you look at all of these like live service games that can't even really get out the gate. They're being canceled, and even a game like Concord, that's like the biggest like crazy moment when you really think about the cost of that. For it to be canceled that fast, it's like it didn't even you didn't give it a chance to do anything, and it's like
Nope.
this is a result of it. The PS5 Pro, which is I'm going to talk about really later on, that's a result of it as well. Buying it in pieces, overpriced and stuff. The industry is really hurting. It's not as lucrative as they thought it was. They thought they were going to come in and get everybody to stronghold them into strong arm them into buying games at full price and stuff. And what's so really crazy about it is none of them paid attention to the gaming community from 2018 to 2020 because everybody bought everything for the cheap during Black Friday and during crazy sales in that time frame. It's like there was almost nobody buying a game at full price, and this was back when it was $60 and not 70.
Yep.
And so once they introduced the $70 price tag and all this extra stuff that they're doing, it was like, well, you just lost the community basically. There's like a giant crowd that's jumping towards emulation now, and it's this whole company over here I'm gonna talk about in a minute that just cannot stop making the handhelds. And it's just like people are not buying the new stuff like that anymore. They'll buy it every now and then, but it's got to literally, quite literally, be something like Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, right? It has to be the most popular thing, like Call of Duty Black Ops 6. It's not going to be, like the only exception to it was Black Myth Wukong, but you're not gonna get franchises anymore. Ain't nobody buying them like that because they're overpriced and they're full of crap, you know. Um,
Mm.
but let's move on. I do also want to mention, funny enough, Nintendo. Some of the stuff that came with Nintendo's story from last week, I think we just didn't touch on. That I just wanted to mention because I'm putting it in the title. The title for this part is Nintendo is basically going to sue everybody. That's just they're trying to sue everybody for literally playing their games on an Xbox. Let's just go there then. If everything is an Xbox, do not play Nintendo's games on that Xbox. You can play Xbox games on it, but you better not play Nintendo's games on it because Nintendo is trying to go after. We mentioned this a long time ago. Discords again. They're trying to see all those links in Discords because you remember when I was always mentioning that everybody pirates and they're not on the pirate sites, they're sharing them through Discords, so they're right under the radar. Well, Nintendo is very aware of this and they're trying to strong arm Discord into showing this again, and it's in their latest lawsuit that they have against a streamer. I don't know the streamer's name, but the story is, now maybe he was asking for it, but the story is he hopped on his stream and streamed 10 games that primarily was Nintendo games and other games that were unreleased. And some of these games include Mario and Luigi's Brothership. And he was on his PC and he streamed these games before they were released, and Nintendo swooped in very quickly to try to shut the stream down, and they're suing him. They're in the lawsuits. They're claiming that he cost them millions of dollars. Yes, they made that accusation. And they're trying to ruin the dude's life for just streaming the games. Now, yes, he probably he pirated them, right? Because that's how he would have gotten it. And I remember back in the day when you pirated like music and stuff, I forgot that you can get some of it like 2 or 3 weeks before they came out. Yeah. I never really thought about it, but I guess games like they hit the internet 2-3 weeks before Street Date maybe, and Nintendo's has been like that for a while. Because by the time I remember, what really set them off was Tears of the Kingdom, because Tears of the Kingdom was a game that is probably the highest game that they was banking on at one point. So when you hear a bunch of people was playing it on their Steam Decks and they were finishing it before the game even was released, you know Nintendo lost it. They poked the bear at that point. And so yeah, they want access to your Discords. If you and me were to ever share links or something, they're gonna try to get in there to see what did we share. I don't even know how that would work. I still question that whole process because I'm just like, I understand what Nintendo wants to do. I'm not understanding how all these like legal courts and stuff are allowing them to do certain things, especially companies. Like, how do you allow a whole nother company to say they're gonna come look at all your stuff? That's kind of like breach of security in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, there should be terms and conditions that you always, sign or check off when you're starting. That usually says this is a privacy thing. You're not allowed. We would never do this and that. So it's like, well, how would Nintendo even have the power to take a look, regardless of if it was like a a pirated link to something or something, whatever.
No idea.
But they're trying to. This is still the same old Nintendo. And what are your thoughts on this, Nintendo?
I think Nintendo needs to calm down. Like, I wish they would stop. They need to stop acting like everyone's like robbing them.
Yeah.
Like, you would think it's like they're penny pitching, and it's like, dude, we need every cent we can get to keep going, and then someone's like mass robbing them. Like, they need to calm down. Like, you they just chill. Like, no one's out here like all these people. Like, you're gonna have your supporters, the people who aren't gonna buy from you. We're never gonna buy from you to begin with. The people who are gonna legit buy things from you, we're always going to do so. So I don't really think you're gaining or losing like any customers. I don't think there's anybody who's like a Nintendo like heavy person who like buys all the stuff and then because of one streamer is gonna be like, you know what? Maybe I'll pirate it instead. Like, no, they're gonna stick to buying this stuff. Look how many people already heard how bad Scarlet and Violet was optimized, and like me, still went and bought it. because they're just Nintendo loyalists.
Yeah, I plan
Right? Like,
to get the Violet one at some point, even though I poked fun at it and said it was the worst game of 2022.
and I got Scarlet, and like, there's so many people who like they buy all of the Legend of Zelda games. I know people with Legend of Zelda tattoos. They're not pirating Legend of Zelda. They're gonna buy it. They're gonna buy it and add it to their collection. Nintendo has nothing to worry about. They need to relax. Now, yes, somebody shouldn't be out here like previewing their stuff weeks in advance. That's messed up. But like, calm down and stop trying to like, I don't know. It's that weird like they're all out to get us. We need to be able to look at all of their stuff. Like it's this weird conspiracy. Like you would think they think everyone's the enemy, and it's like, dude, just chill, chill. Chill.
I did recently buy the Legend of Zelda game, the little where you play as Zelda, the little
Oh,
mini
nice.
I,
The wishes.
Echo of Wisdom or something.
Yeah, Echoes of Wisdom. I plan
Yeah,
on getting that eventually.
yeah. At the time, Amazon had it for like almost $10 off, and so I was like, all right, that's your normal like discount that you would see. You usually don't see any more from them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nintendo, I would like for them to put this extra energy into like a new IP. I keep saying that, but
Yes.
I think even with this, even with the threats, they're aware that the kids are going to pirate and go off of Discord, but at the same time, they don't care. You know what I mean? I think their scare tactics that they're trying to use does not phase some of them. You remember the guy who I think we reported on this dude a while back, but I forgot his name. But I just remembered the story was it was the dude who hacked PlayStation, right? Didn't they put him in jail? And I think they tried to say they wanted to give him life in prison, and his response was he can't wait to get back out so he could do it again. It
Yep.
was like a young kid who was basically throwing his life away in a way. And in my head, I was like, I don't agree with the sentence because it's a video game. It's not like he did some of the most heinous stuff that we've ever seen people do, right? And I still feel that way. I feel like I can't put this on the same level as like, real life crimes where you deserve to really be in jail forever. But he didn't care as a young age, and I think a lot of people don't have any type of remorse for this. They probably don't even think about it like that. I don't think anybody's feeling guilty or anything. They say it online because it's like the politically correct thing to do. But I think even with channels and stuff that try to say like this is for educational purpose and stuff, like they kind of lie out their teeth a little bit. Like people don't really care. I think they're going to continue to do what they do, um, like all of these emulation devices that I'm gonna talk about in a second, like a lot of them have a lot of old Nintendo games in it, right? And they advertise that they can play certain systems, and when you see that system, automatically you say, "Oh, that means I could play this game and that game." That has, that's part of Nintendo's first party from the past. And I don't know. It's not like it's not like they could do too much about it because you could try to sue as many people as you want, but it's like for every person that you sue, there's still like 2 or 3 more people that enter the market that's just gonna do the same thing and they're gonna do it even better, right? Because emulation and piracy have taken like it's evolved to the point where I'm starting to see the analog 64 being advertised and posted on other people's pages. And I don't know if you've seen it because we have some mutual friends. Like, I've seen people post from where you and me know each other from the analog 64. People who I wouldn't even think was in the gaming space like that, right? And that thing clearly is a ripoff of the N64. It's like a new and improved, HD remake, right? Of a $10 upgrade. Well, it ain't $10 upgrade, but it's like a $250 upgrade. But it's an upgrade, and that thing wouldn't have existed if there wasn't such a high demand for emulation and piracy, right? Emulation and piracy go hand in hand. So, um, the other part of this is that they're starting to claim in their lawsuit, I think they claim that even if you owned a Nintendo game and you called yourself doing the whole I'm backing up my own game that I bought, they're claiming that is also still illegal.
I
And
hate stuff like that.
they're trying to say that, and they're trying to it's almost like they're trying to make up the rules to favor them, because that was not the case, beforehand. It absolutely was legal for you to back up your own games, and it still is. But they're trying to change the narrative because they're trying to be a scary company that will just sue you. And people are afraid of corporations because when you hear a lawsuit, you think, well, I don't have money for that, and I don't want to go to jail, right? And so they're still doing this thing, but we can move forward. I just want to mention one thing, and you already know what I'm going to say. They're still avoiding one company. They're not going to send that lawsuit out to this one particular company. They're not going to send that cease and desist to one particular company. And you know who that company is. And I'm going to call for it every single time I hear this. Where, Nintendo, is that lawsuit for Amazon? Please sue Amazon, because I still have some of these links saved where I can see where they're absolutely selling pirated versions of your Switch games on devices such as these hard drives that you could just plug right into your TV or into your computer. They're absolutely right there. Amazon has had it there this whole time. Before, how did you jump on this Twitch streamer but you ain't jump on Amazon? You got to know Amazon's had that there this whole time. How you gonna have this energy towards the Twitch streamer and you don't have it towards Amazon? Amazon absolutely has been making a profit off of these games that are your games on their platform, while the other dude just simply played it. He didn't try to resell it or something before the street date or anything. So please show Jeff Bezos this same energy. How did we jump to this another person? You notice that it's always just a rando person. No disrespect to the dude, but I'm just saying, it ain't never Amazon though. Amazon right here, this stuff is still there. I need everyone who calls themselves praising Nintendo for their tactics, please send them the links. There are plenty of them. Please send them to every type of device. There's so many of these devices now that absolutely have Nintendo first party games in it. Please send this stuff that is sitting right on Amazon's storefront. Everybody who claims to have like all of these devices that have these custom, quote unquote custom SD cards with a certain amount of games already on there, please send that to Nintendo. I want to see this Amazon cease and desist. I'm taking over Amazon, or all these little things. Please, I beg you. I'm almost like I'm begging on my knees. Send this to them. I want to see them with their lawyers go head to head with Amazon and their lawyers. That's what I want to see. We can move forward. You want to see that too? I know you want to see that too. I definitely know you want to see that too.
Why not see the big guys all fight each other? It'd just
Absolutely. Absolutely. But yes, we can move forward. I want to just give a quick shout out. Always do this to our unofficial sponsor, the people who owe us money at this point. We should sue them. Should we sue them? We should probably sue them. I don't think that'll work. But
I'd be like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Shout out to Epic Games. Epic Games, they give away free games every week, sometimes 2 games. I think this is one of the weeks where they give away, well, probably technically more than 2, because one of the games is a very high profile collection. But they give away games every week where you can play on PC, and even if you don't have a PC, you can just create a profile, and when you do get a PC, you can just log into the profile and all the games that you've saved are there, whether you're on a laptop, a desktop, a handheld, or an Xbox, I guess. And basically the games that they have right now until November 21st is the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. That's going to be a collection of a lot of classic Castlevania games. And also Snake Bird Complete. And I actually double checked. This was a game that they double dipped on. It already said for me that it was in the library. So somewhere in the past, I told you to download this one too.
Well, I must have missed it because it was new for me.
Okay.
It must have been a week I missed.
Yeah. So the Castlevania one is definitely a big one. I think a lot of people should be jumping on that. That's a big one. It'll open up a big Metrovania style of game to you, something that you probably may have not been used to if you're not already playing this. And then once you're done with it, you can go on to look on Steam and a couple other places to see so many games that do this type of gameplay that are dirt cheap, and you'll have so much fun and you wouldn't know what to do with yourself, right? So those are those games. Next week it looks like it's back to just one. It's a game called Beholder. That is from November 21st to the 28th. And I think that's it as far as the Epic Games stuff. I do want to mention just a couple news stories in this particular spot. Kojima Productions. Yes, that Kojima, he has acquired the rights to Death Stranding fully, which is, I guess, something that he really wanted, I guess, because that was his game in the past, but PlayStation owned the rights. He's acquired the rights, and now he's made the game almost fully multi-plat. Once he acquired the rights, he shadow dropped it on Xbox. It was actually not on Xbox this whole time, but it was on Xbox's Game Pass on PC at one point from the PC version, which was a little bit weird for a lot of people, but that happened. It's still on PlayStation, obviously. It's still on PC, like I just said, but it's not on the Switch, right? But yeah, he acquired the rights to that. And I think other than that, I do want to transition to another topic within games and news. So Black Friday is almost upon us. Black Friday is where typically you get the best gaming deals of the year, basically, right? I do a big portion of my gaming or game collecting during Black Friday. This year, I grabbed a few things early, and I'm a little disappointed because it looks like the games, the controllers, the PS5 controllers don't look like they're going to go down in price this year.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm probably not going to grab any new controller, and I might hold off on just working on my Joy-Con drift controller. Because I ain't really trying to spend $80 on it, especially if I can't even get the 30th anniversary one. It's like, well, if I can't get it, I'm not trying to spend that kind of money for something less than. But it might turn around. Maybe next week we might see somebody have a deal. But as of right now, those controllers are not on sale. Certain games are on sale. I think Nintendo has like a weird sale going on too, where one of the games that's never this low was Super Mario Odyssey. That one actually finally is going to be $30. And that's $29.99. I don't think we've ever seen it that low. Almost every other Nintendo game, they're leaving it at $40, just like they've done every year. And then Tears of the Kingdom is going to be $50 instead of the $70. That's like the only thing that you're going to see a savings for. Everything else is $40 basically. There is one game that I think I'm going to get, even though it's 40. I think no. One of them is 30. It's their Pikmin collection, Pikmin 1 and 2. I thought about just going ahead and getting it because it was like $15 each basically. Technically, yes, I do still have like the quote unquote Steam Deck version, but see, I'm one of those people that will support if I feel like I got the deal, right? And so I would rather play it on the Switch if it's actually optimized good and they've enhanced the visuals and stuff, right? So I think I'm gonna get Pikmin 1 and 2. I am gonna get a bunch of East games. That's YS. Those games on Steam because a lot of them are on sale right now on Steam. Steam looks like they have the best deals right now, which makes the most sense. Steam always have the best deals. So I would say just go take a look at your wish lists and you'll see a bunch of stuff on sale. I remember getting a notification from them where it said 30 games on your list just went on sale. I was like, man, 30? I got that many things to look through. But a lot of the East games that I don't have were all running around like $4.99 each. And I think it was like 3 or 4 of them that I needed to get to complete the collection before I grabbed 10 at some point. That just came out last month. Um, the only other thing I want to mention is it looks like Black Friday sales are going to be a little bit more harder now because the online sales are not as vast. However, I've noticed a few signs, especially with a company like Walmart, where they said they have exclusive in store sales. And that's going to be a case by case basis where, depending on the store you go to, is the sale you're going to get. And I think it's really just the store itself trying to like relieve some of their inventory. But the type of Black Friday sale that you would get from one Walmart, you're not going to get from another. I know a very particular Walmart where they had crazy sales all year round. I think I used to talk about them on this podcast, where if I just went to another Walmart down the road somewhere, they didn't have any of that, right? So I'm going to check that Walmart to see what I can get. But I would say in your area, you would have to literally go in stores to see it. And right now they're advertising from the 11th to the 8th, to I think not the 18th, the 11th to the 17th for right now. So by the time this goes out, you have to go like that weekend. And then next week, I don't know what their sales are going to be. But you would just have to go and check them out, basically. Um, any last thing you want to mention on what you are definitively going to get on Black Friday? Is it something that you
No,
know
because
for sure?
I still so the only game that I think I'm gonna pick up, honestly, is Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is already like $6. Uh, and probably Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which is currently already like 14. Other
Mm-hmm.
than that, like I'm probably gonna pick up Dragon Age Veilguard, even though it's probably not gonna be on sale. That's about it. Like honestly, I I've been really looking at my backlog and like just like I keep buying and not finishing stuff. But I really want to push myself to finish some things before I start buying some more. Like I wanted to get the Echoes of Wisdom game, but I was like, you know what? I haven't beaten Breath of the Wild and I haven't beaten Link's Awakening. I need to beat one of those before I buy Echoes. So slowing down on the buying, so there's nothing I'm really getting.
I actually have a sticky note that's right in front of me of the top 5 games that I want to finish before starting other
Yeah.
games and going to the old ones. Tears of the Kingdom was one of them. I just recently picked that back up not too long ago. Black Myth Wukong is also another one. Obviously, the game on screen is on this list. That is Bloodborne.
Oh,
Persona 4 Golden. Some of these
that's a
games
good
I've
one.
been mentioning for a really long time. It's
Same.
like I have
And
to
like
actually finish it.
I've been mentioning these for a long time, and some of these games that I've been mentioning are like over 100 hours, right? Like
Yeah.
Persona 4 Golden. I still gotta finish Persona 5 Tactica, along with playing Persona 4 Golden. That was the whole reason I didn't buy Persona 3 Reload yet because it's like I haven't even played Golden, I haven't finished Tactica, I haven't finished Strikers. Uh, there's those. I want to do another playthrough of Digimon Survive, so I can get the like true ending. I still got Baldur's Gate 3 to actually finish through. So it's just there's so much. And I was out here. I was out here almost. I almost bought the Yakuza series, the like
Hmm.
games 0 through 6. And I thought about it. I was like, why get it now if I'm not even gonna play it yet? Let's wait until I want to play it and wait till it's on sale then, versus picking it up and then by the time I get to it, it would have been cheaper. So waiting.
There, there was one other game on this list called A Plague's Tale: Innocence. That was one of the games I had started playing before most of everything else because I was trying to get through the PS Plus collection stuff before I let it lapse. And I started this at the beginning of the year. Now we're at the end of the year, and that's something that was supposed to be finished. That was like a um, 10-hour game or less or something. So I'm going to finish that up along with some other stuff. And just go back and finishing stuff that I have already started. Um, Outside of this top five list, I know I have things like Hollow Knight from the PS4 that I have to finish. The first Guacamelee, and some Xbox games and Nintendo games. I can't really think of right now. Halo, some of the Halo games, and I remember I told the internet at one point that I was gonna jump from Alan Wake 1 directly into Control, and I have to guiltily say I have not touched um, Quantum Break
I want to play
or
Control and Quantum.
Control. And that
See,
was the next ones in the series, and I was supposed to have all that done before Alan Wake 2 even came out, and now we're a year later after Alan Wake 2 has not only came out but got into the award show and everything. So yeah, I have a list and I have a schedule that I've put together so I can make sure that I get games done, and not only that, I also go to the gym and make more money. So I've done that for myself. Um, just because, yeah, you just start buying all this stuff, and you'll get to the point where you're just buying and you're buying and you're just buying, right? Especially when it comes to the Steam sales, because I'm about to buy a bunch of those stuff because they're just dirt cheap. But it's like, even though they're dirt cheap, some of them are still 10-hour games, 15-hour games, some of them maybe 30 or 40-hour games. Despite them being cheap, they still have to be played, right? They still have achievements and everything. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I just wanted to mention that. Let's go ahead and jump to one of your topics. I think I have wrote it down on the list. Oh, actually, I have one more thing, and then your topic, according to what I have, because I lined this up. I just want to give a shout out real quick. This doesn't have to be long at all. This is a big game that is on my radar that I'm going to get eventually, but I don't think it's going to be right away or this year. But Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake has just released, and is the game of this month. Basically, is taking the internet by storm a little bit. A lot of people are streaming this game. It looks, no different than what you've probably seen from like Octopath Travelers 1 and 2, maybe Sea of Stars. It's got that type of art style. Cool, dope game. I really like the way it looks. A lot of people out there, they feel like maybe these guys should sue Nintendo. There's a whole bunch of that energy. But remember, the third game, chronologically speaking, is the first game you want to play. And then they're going to do the collection of 1 and 2 at some point next year. And you want to play that afterwards. So 3 is like an origin, and then 1 and then 2 is just the numbering is kind of messed up. But hardcore people already know. I just wanted to mention it. Was this ever a game that you thought you might want to play?
eventually, it was one of those ones that was like, if I free up some time and like finish a bunch of other stuff, that'll be another one I want to jump into. That and Fire Emblem.
So this is out right now. I believe it's a $60 game. I don't know if it's 70. I think it was 60. But HD 2D remake. It's a gorgeous looking game. I think this probably looks fantastic on a handheld. But I will snag this probably Black Friday next year. Probably something like that. But yeah, I just want to mention that. And I do have your topic on here next. So it basically says which state games the most. So what do
Yeah,
you
so
want to talk about on that? Mm-hmm.
a study was done by Solitaire Bliss. I don't know, they were going through to see, like, which state has like the most average hours in like gaming done. So after doing some research and I guess collecting data from like how many people were playing games, how many hours, what, like, collecting it all and seeing what state and taking the average, they determined the city, or I guess the state that has the most gamers or most time gaming is Nevada.
Okay. It
Yeah.
almost seemed like it was gonna
Uh,
be random no matter which one you said, but I guess that's cool. Shout out to
I
Nevada.
wasn't really expecting. So it was the top five were Nevada, Arkansas, Illinois, Iowa, and Texas.
I don't know why, but I just expected you to say California. I don't know why. I just thought
Yeah,
California would have been it.
me too. Now here's the thing, though. What really shocked me was how many hours per week they got.
Okay.
So Nevada at number one was just under 16 hours per week. And in my head, I thought that number would be higher.
Hmm.
So I thought it was going to hit something like at least 24 to 30 hours a week, like those people who are just gaming for like 5 hours a day or something like that. But then I thought about it, and if they're calculating everyone's hours, you got your people who are just like, I game every day and I stream. But then you also have your people who are like, I have a family and a really long job, and I only get to game for 2 hours on Sundays. Right? So if you have a bunch of those back, like in between, I guess they balance each other out. But yeah, the 16 hour or just under 16 hours for like being the most, that's what like shocked me.
I think is also probably like more bodies, more volume, some more sales, more
Yeah.
gaming accounts and stuff. So it's like the quantity is probably beating the other quantity or quality. So that's pretty cool. Hey,
Yeah, go to Nevada.
I wonder if they get more like commercials over there because of that. The
Well,
marketing and stuff.
there might be a lot of like posters and stuff, I imagine during like Las Vegas. It's easy to market and
Hmm.
advertise. Uh, so that could be the case. I also saw it here, even though Texas is number five, it was ranked number one for being like for having a strong gaming industry. So a lot of studios work out of Texas.
Mm,
So yeah,
that's pretty cool. I buy a lot of stuff. I need to game a little bit more. I wonder. I don't know if is that a little. Is that just like based on a survey, or were they like checking gamer scores?
yeah, I think they were like they were probably looking through like Steam and stuff like that to see just like how many hours were logged in per like area.
Okay.
Oh, it says and surveys. Or surveys
Surveys.
reveal that gamers in Nevada, Arkansas, and Illinois log in the most hours.
Okay. All right. Well, shout out to them. I would have thought they gambled. I guess they maybe they play. You think they play? You think
It
they
could.
play all
Oh
the
my!
gotcha stuff? That's what they be playing over
Yeah,
there,
they
man. Maybe
play the
that's
gotcha
what they
stuff.
got.
There is virtual gambling games. Like it could be.
Yeah, man. That's where all the loot boxes get bought over there in Nevada. Shout out to them.
Oh, you know what? Also, it does say nearly half, 48% of gamers play on their phones every day.
Hmm. All right. All right. Maybe we on to something.
The average American gamer plays just under 12 hours of video games per week.
Well.
That makes sense. If you go out Fridays and you hang at home like Saturday and Sunday, hitting
Mm,
about like six, like if you really like find some time to game, like a couple hours on Friday, a good chunk of time on Saturday, and then a few hours on Sunday over the weekend, and maybe hitting like an
the
hour throughout the week.
so some of my handhelds pull their weight definitely during the week. And then some of the bigger games that I mentioned is what I would try to play on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I have one more game that I started that I'm going to mention last, but that's pretty cool. And do you want to tell me what is going on? What's going on in Australia?
Yeah. So Australia is deciding to start banning children, so ages 16 and under, from
Banning
being on
children.
any.
That's the way you
That's
sound. That's how wild. Like, what does
no,
that mean?
no more children in Australia. We're done with them. Nah, they're banning children from being on social media. So you have to be 16
Mm,
or older to be on social media. But by their definition of what constitutes as social media, it'll end up affecting like consoles, PlayStation and Xbox. So
mm.
they said anything where you're in like an online space socially interacting with people you may not know. So because of that, they're like, oh, so if a kid logs in on Fortnite
Mm-hmm.
and they're on online chat with other people, and Australia's like, yep, that's social media.
What about
So they
like how does that affect something like Twitch?
social media.
Social media.
You can't is 16 and or if you're under 16, you can't be on there.
Mm,
However, it does seem like the way that they're trying to implement this is it's not going to be the kids who are punished for being on the platform. It's going to be the companies who are punished. So it's like if they catch a kid on the platform, it's the company's fault for not putting in like measures to make sure the kid's not on there.
well, that's not
Uh
fair. That sounds
no.
silly. That sounds
So what
almost
they're
like the what was that? Code of the Lamb. Remember that the whole
yep,
like download thing. That sounds like that.
yeah. But what they
Oh,
were saying is that what I saw is that they said it would like fine the company, and a lot of people think it won't affect like PlayStation or Xbox because the amount that they would get fined, it's like, we'll just pay it, let the kids play. Like we make more money letting them play the game,
mm,
that we could just pay off the fine. However, in my mind, with how stingy a lot of these companies are, if they're gonna start getting fined for like under eight, like under 16 being on there, if they're not gonna ban them outright from being on there, that means they're gonna start upping more prices to make up for the money that they have to pay for the lawsuit.
right.
So if this gets implemented, I feel like there's going to be like extra charges, like maybe in Australia, PS Plus, because that's how you're able to interact online for stuff. PS Plus is going to now cost more there, specifically because it has to make up for the kids that are logging on.
Yeah, that sounds like something they're gonna have to try to overturn because like um interesting enough because we're gonna talk about it in a second. Like we've mentioned already like emulation, right? Like you can't really track that, you
Yeah,
know. And
yep.
then when I was a younger kid, man, all you had to do was pull out a big pile of toys, and that was enough for me. You know, like distractions are
Working out there.
distractions. You know, like what about the athletes? Like a kid who can't stop like playing basketball, or a bunch of kids who get together and they're like skateboarding or something. It's
Well, no,
like,
that's fine. You can have social interactions, you just can't be online with it.
yeah, it's just strange
Like
because I
get off
think
of Facebook, get off of X, get off of TikTok, get
because
off
their
of
whole idea is to get you to focus more on like maybe your education or something. And I'm
that. I
like, a
think they're trying to
distraction is the
lower.
distraction.
I think they're trying to lower like bullying, online harassment, uh, predatory stuff. I think they're
Mm.
trying to do. They're trying to say that like you need to be of a certain age to be able to handle the ideas of social media. Right?
Oh.
It's their way of not trying to like have to block certain types of content. It's like now it's no. Instead, you're just too young to be on here.
Mm-hmm.
And since parents don't want to enforce that, the government's gonna enforce that. I think that's the route that they're trying to take.
Yeah, that's
But I
crazy.
did notice they said Australia will require social media platforms to act to prevent online harm to users. So I'm wondering if that is something like I haven't looked into it, but there might be an increase of, I guess, cyberbullying and some of the people who can't handle
But what's really
cyberbullying.
bad is some of those kids really want to be like a streamer or something, and that might be something that they might want to do as a career.
wait till you're
even
16.
if yes, it's kind of crazy because it's like you want to, or if you or your parent paid hard-earned money for a product, you want to be able to utilize that product with like you know
Yeah.
no restriction whatsoever. I paid money for it. I wouldn't want nobody to tell me you think piracy is bad now. Don't tell me I have a time limit on a game that I bought. Are you
Yeah.
serious? You know,
Some people are
so
saying that mainly it's like social media platforms are not good for like adolescent mental health.
uh
Oh, so I need to be off of it, and then they just decided, yeah, PlayStation and Xbox, all of that stuff counts. That's the way. It seems like their focus is like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all of that. But then these guys are also getting hit like Twitch and PlayStation and stuff as a result.
well, we'll see how long that lasts. That doesn't seem like something. I feel like it's gonna be a very hard time for them to police that in general. It's almost
True.
like with like people tell you like almost every country would tell you to not have drugs, right?
Yeah.
And look
Or
how that turned out.
even if we go with something more innocent than that, how many times for like they say you can only watch this mature rated trailer for this video game if you're of a certain age on like Steam. So they're like, hey, well, how old are you to watch this? And all you got to do is pick the correct year. And it's like, all right,
Yeah,
you
I
know, and like,
always poked fun at that myself because I was
yeah,
just like it'll be silly because it'll be like put your age in there. So like
yeah,
Steam does that. Like if you are on the regular browser and you're not logged in, Steam will do that. And I remember I put it saved the age, and I don't know if it thinks I'm this old, but I put it on there. I believe like I was born in like 1912, just because. So it could be absurd, and like it
so
saved it, and it lets me see like M-rated like trailers and
yeah.
stuff.
I actually talked to somebody about this, and I think I understand why they do it as silly as it is.
Hmm.
I caught it off of when you're playing Pokemon Go. When I was in the passenger seat and we're driving, it'll be like, "Whoa, you're going fast! Like, don't play this while driving." And like you just hit OK and you can keep playing. So I'm like, that doesn't really stop me from playing while driving. But somebody said, but then if you get into a car accident and you try to say, well, it's not my fault, I was distracted by Pokemon Go. Pokemon
Mm.
Go is not liable because they're like, we told you not to play while driving. In the same way for like, if wrestling, all they have to do is a commercial to say, don't try this at home. And as of course, everybody was still wrestling at home. But now if they get hurt and somebody wants to try and say, well, wrestling's a bad influence, they can be like, we said don't try it at home. We did our
Right.
part. So I guess for these, that little check to go, whoa, how old are you? If you lie, they can't do anything about it. But it's like, we did a check. We told them you had to be this age. They lied. It's not on us.
Mm.
So that, I don't know. But again, it's how do you enforce them not being on the social media? Like, are you going to require social media to be like, you need to submit an ID? Or like how does that work? Because again, all they have to do is the age thing. And if the kid lies, there goes that. Why is the company in trouble if the kid lied? And you're not
Yeah.
going to punish the kid. So I don't know how they're going to enforce it, but that's their plan right now.
How does that work with people who game share?
They just can't be online. You
That's a
can't be
whole
in
can
like
of worms, ain't it?
you can't be in like Discord or you can't play like Helldivers 2 or you can't be in online social media stuff. You can still play the game. You just can't be interacting with other people.
Yeah, I was just thinking because with game sharing, don't you guys log into each other's profile in a way? And
Yeah.
I was just thinking like, well,
Well, I
if
mean, you can have a Steam account. You
hmm
just can't be on like message boards. I guess I don't know.
mm. Well, I hope that gets better for them. That sucks when you hear like a certain country is doing certain things because then the people in there they just want to enjoy themselves. The whole point is
Yeah.
just to enjoy your time, and somebody else trying to police how you enjoy your time is very troubling to me.
Yes,
Um,
but also 8-year-olds don't need to be on Instagram. Like I know it's
yeah,
like
yeah. I'm
so
just looking at it as a video game thing, but yeah, I can
yeah.
agree with that as far as like an actual social media thing.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think they
Um.
just need to define social media better.
Yeah. Um. We'll see. I think it's funny enough. I just think they're gonna find a way to get around that as well. You know, because people have burner accounts,
Absolutely.
so I will wonder how that will go. But yeah. Better that than like supersized spiders, right? Don't they got supersized spiders over there? I don't know. But yeah. We can move forward. I have a few more topics, but these are very quick. Funny enough, I think this might like transition off of yours a little bit. When we were just talking about like emulation and stuff. But um, Anbernic. I just want to mention Anbernic, the company that keeps making handhelds. Well, they've announced another one today. It's like the third or fourth one
Crazy.
since the one that I got. Um, I I don't understand that this is another company where I'm just like, is this how you make money? You just like print out these devices? Because whenever you hear like the main companies and stuff, I've always heard them say they got to sell devices at a loss, right? And make money off of the software on the back end, at least for the official big three. But this obviously you can't make money on the back end. If you do, Nintendo's gonna come find you, right? So I don't know if they're selling it at a loss or this is how they get you to keep buying the system, but they've made another handheld. This is called the Anbernic RG406H, and this is very similar to the vertical one, but the H's are the horizontal version. So they're coming out with a vertical and a horizontal version of handhelds now, and then some of them have one joystick or two joysticks. This is one of them with two joysticks in this vertical, or not vertical, but horizontal. Um, but yeah, they just announced it. I don't know what the price is for it. I just know the other one, the price was somewhere in the $150 range because this thing was supposed to also play like GameCube, Wii games, PS2 games, and stuff. And so it goes up to those systems. But yeah, they made another handheld. They're doing this. I don't even think it's a full month. It seems like it's every 3 weeks. It doesn't seem like it's a full month,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a month each time. I'm still waiting for the one you have to go down to like maybe $40, and I'll just get that one. That's probably gonna happen sometime in the middle of the winter. But yeah, they're just coming out with more handhelds. Do you feel like you need a second one,
No,
or a third,
not
or
at
fourth, or
all.
fifth one, or sixth or seventh one?
Not at all.
Because they get some people. I've been in some of these groups where they'll take a picture where they got it in almost every color. Like some people do want it like that. I remember I said it a couple times where some of those colors, intrigue me. The $60 ones isn't really too bad, but I'm not gonna really do that with something that's like $150. I would
There,
just at that point just go for like a Steam Deck. But
there could also be that person who like for example, for the ones we have, right? Because there's no
mhm,
search button, right? If you
mhm,
download the whole library, it might be hard to like find specific games. So if
mhm,
you have specific colors for specific games, or more likely, you have different because they come out in different like shapes, right?
mhm,
Like you have the ones that look like a Game Boy Advance SP, the ones that look like a Game Boy Color, the ones that look uh like the Steam Deck and stuff like that. Like the way that you might want to be like, I want to play this type of game on like something that looks specifically like this.
yeah, it does have a search button.
That
It's
might be
in
a
the
good
other
one.
settings, but
Oh, it does.
yeah, it does. It does. That's how I
I
was
was
able to
not.
find a few
I was
things.
over here like scrolling through the system as much as I can and just favoriting certain games. It's like these are the ones I'm going to go to right away.
Yeah.
There's a search button.
But I do want to mention at one point I said I had a hard time. I think it was last week. With getting controller settings set up for when I played it docked versus playing it handheld, and I think I would like solve that problem by having a second one That's just me, but that's still the $60 one. It's not, and I'm saying I want to wait till it's 40. But some of these devices, like I've seen people take pictures where they have a whole bunch of different variations of them, different styles, and they all do the exact same thing. It's almost like the Xbox kind of situation where it's like, this is the Xbox, this is the Xbox. It's like quite literally you have all these devices that will emulate the same games, right? Only a few of them will do more powerful ones. But for anybody who wants it, there it is. They've just thrown out teaser trailers, but you'll get pricing and stuff for it probably not too far from now. I just know if it's the 406 model, the other one was the vertical one was more in the $150 range, so just expect that. But yeah, we can move forward. The next thing I just wanted to mention is I want to call this the PlayStation 5 Pro Aftermath. So what I've been seeing is obviously the influencers were the ones who bought this thing because they want to make videos about it, right? But I don't feel the need to try to shame anybody for buying it. If you want to buy it, definitely buy it. But I think I could probably save you some money here because it looks like for almost every person that I've seen who had this thing, they don't necessarily need a stand. So I still feel like the stand for sure should have been in the box with it. It should cost you an extra $30. But from what I was seeing with people putting the disk drive on it, and even if you didn't put the disk drive on it, it stands vertically with no problem. There was a couple of videos where it almost cringed me a little bit because they were kind of tapping it really hard, almost to try to make it fall over, and it just wouldn't. It would just wobble for a split second and just go back to this position. So you probably don't need to stand. So you could save yourself maybe like $30. It's still not really appealing to me, especially when they didn't give you different, color variations and you get the same controller again. But for other people, more power to you. If you get it, fantastic. I hope you enjoy it. What I've been seeing though is that it hasn't been making that many games look good, with the exception of like Final Fantasy VII. Apparently, Final Fantasy VII has shown like very, visible upgrades where you can tell the difference. Where almost everything else is like you gotta really sit there and look at it. So, if you want it, I mean, just because you like tech, I mean, more power to you. But I still don't think it's really a buy for me. What do you think about this? Last thing you want to say about it?
Still no. Like there's still no reason for it.
Still no. Yeah. Well, I do have like a exceptionally well powerful PC that a lot of their stuff is already going towards. I do like new tech. I'm a new tech person. I like watching the videos and watching people like put it together. But yeah, it's very expensive for what it is. Even if you don't need to stand, to tell me to pay an extra $30 for that is still kind of crazy to me. It just seems like such a slap in the face. I don't know, especially even the whole disk drive thing. It's not Xbox fault, but I do think that if they weren't parading themselves around here saying everything is an Xbox or this is an Xbox and you could play my game, you could play my game, like that Oprah meme, you get a game, you get a game. If they weren't doing all that, you wouldn't see PlayStation do this type of thing. I really think I could really believe that. But yeah, that's still the PS5 Pro. But I do want to mention within this, I do want to get the light blue plates on the original. I really like the light blue look, the light blue and black. And I want to get that controller. Hopefully I can get it. The plates I think are like a little over $50. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it for Black Friday, but I do know I want to get those plates sometime in the future. And make my system and stuff all light blue and black. Last topic. I'll keep this brief. I did start another game underneath the Anbernic RG40XXV. So yes, it's an emulation thing, but I picked up a classic, the Yu-Gi-Oh game, man. It was a Yu-Gi-Oh card game called Yu-Gi-Oh World Tournament 2004 underneath Game Boy Advance. It was a game that was one of the better games that I played in my childhood, when I had an actual Game Boy Advance. And um, I'm not as good as I was back then. I picked it up and I remember some of the cards, but I was not aware of all the rules like how I was probably when I used to watch the show and stuff. But I'm picking up on it a little bit more now. But there are certain people that's still really hard for me to beat, like Seto Kaiba, obviously. And then like sometimes Joey and I think the girl name is Ty or Ann, I forgot. But you know the original crew that used to be with Yugi?
Yeah.
Like some of them was kind of hard. Like some of them was really, really hard. But I picked up the game. I actually plan on playing a little bit of it tonight, before I go to bed. Because it's very, very you don't have to put that much energy into it. It's just simply a card game. And that works very well when you know, get off work and you just going home. My game that I was having to be that game is still Tears of the Kingdom, but I feel like there's a little bit more work to playing that one because I don't want to play a game like that handheld. That game just looks like it needs to be atmospheric and very like grand, you know. So I don't want to play that handheld. So I would want to like set it up, and then if I'm setting it up, I want to you know, capture the footage. Like I captured some footage for the podcast I think last week, but I haven't like edited it down for this yet. But just picking up that handheld and pulling up that game is just so satisfying. You know, it's just very, very cool. Have you played or have you started anything on there that you're like, this is a main game that I'm playing right now or in your rotation?
One, I started Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Uh,
The first one?
the first one. Yep.
Okay.
The super pixelated where it just kind of like drops you in. It's like make your four people, and then you just
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm just starting from the beginning and let's just see where we go from there. But I'm sorry, did you say you struggled against Taya?
I forgot which were. I think her, and the way
brown
they
hair
are in
girl?
that game is just like there's certain people that are like a little bit better than others. She is one of them.
No, she is not.
In that game,
Taya's
she
like one of
is
the worst duelists.
she is the girl that's like with Yugi and Joey.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
Taya.
that's her name. Yeah, her, Joey, and Seto Kaiba are like some of the hardest
Well,
ones. Funny enough,
Kaiba
Yugi is not.
yeah,
But
Kaiba's Kaiba. Of course, he's
yeah,
gonna be the best. And then Joey got plot armor, but
he's a prick too. But
what?
yeah,
Taya? Bruh, she weak.
yeah, yeah. I played her and
Taya
beat
is weak.
her. Like I've beaten her as much times as she's beat me. It's like right in the middle.
Oh, bro.
Kaiba is like 75% he beat me. And it's only because like I still have the starter deck. Like I haven't really gotten um like any really good cards yet. Like usually you get good cards from the booster packs when you win, but the booster packs are still set up where it's like maybe you get one good card and it's a bunch of trash. Like one of the booster
Oh yeah.
packs, like if you beat Kaiba, you can get the booster pack where you get that three-headed blue eyes white dragon.
Blue
But
Eyes
it's
White
like,
Dragon.
yeah, and it's like I'm really trying to find good spells and trap cards though. And it's
Okay.
like I can't get it. And it's like if I get the bigger monster cards, it's like, yeah, that's cool, but I gotta like build my I gotta build my defense up or something so I can like sacrifice these guys to bring that guy out. But
Yeah.
even then, their trap cards are just waiting to take them right off the board as soon as I get them out there, and it's a hard time to get them out there because your monsters beforehand are basically punching bags. You just throw one out there, then it's their turn, they attack it. Throw another one out there, it's their turn, they attack it. You ain't got another one, now they're attacking you directly. And so
Better cards, boy.
they not really giving them to me that good. Maybe I have to like start grabbing booster packs and beating a bunch of weak people and grabbing a whole bunch of different booster packs to try to find something. But it's really like there's 3 or 4 cards that I'm looking for. I think it's called Millennium Force. I
Mirror
think that's
Force?
huh?
Mirror Force?
Mirror Force. I think that one is it. Yeah.
Is it the one that destroys all attacking monsters?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Mirror Force.
one. Magical Cylinder. I think is another one.
Magic.
Magic Cylinder. Um, that's like the main one for sure. I remember those two, and those two have been used against me a lot. I think another one is like a hurricane or typhoon or something where it's just like
Space Typhoon?
probably yeah. So they've been using those against me, but I haven't been able to get the booster packs to get them. Plus, I didn't know at first that you only have a certain limit of like spells and traps that you could put in there. And I also learned the hard way that you need to keep your cards limited to more around the 40 card range than the 60 card range.
Yes.
Um
40 is the goal. Matter of fact, go 41.
yeah.
41 is solid because if you do deck run out, you still have 1 extra card.
Yeah, but this is the part where I have to make a confession. And I know you're going to flip when I make this confession. And everybody out there is not going to understand, and I will try to do my best to explain it after I make this confession. Yes, I did buy some Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Okay.
Now, before you go there, because I know what you're going to probably say,
Well,
I'm justified in it, though. Because for anybody out there, you don't know this, behind the scenes, I've always said, just go print them out. Why are we spending all this money
kept
for?
trying to say,
Don't.
instead of spending the money, print out the cards and tape it to like like some heathen. Like no, it's a collectible card game, not print out to win.
Because I was just like, if you only gonna play with I still stand by this too. If you just go play with your friends, like y'all can just have y'all understand it and go get the stuff that y'all want, so y'all can cut out the time and take and just play each other.
It's not a collectible
How?
card game.
Well,
Because the
okay.
whole point is to collect. That's like playing an online game and it's saying instead of me trying to earn the like good weapons in game to fight you, I'm gonna just go buy it.
But how is it any different than the play to win or pay to win mechanics in video games, though?
It is that, and you shouldn't do pay to win, except you're not paying to win, you're printing to win. And the closer thing to pay to win would be buying the specific card you want. But even then, people do that. But you still have to collect the card. You are free printing. You're stealing to win and using something that shouldn't be in the game. On top of that, like, it's not even an official card.
So I got 3 official cards. It was basically a steal. Back in the day, these cards were worth a lot, but I guess now they're not really worth anything. So I went and got the Egyptian God cards.
I know what that you got. I bought that before too.
And they are holographic cards too, and they were official. It was kind of too good to be true. I had to really research for a second. Like, are these bootleg? Like, I don't mind getting them if they were bootleg because they were very cheap. But no, they are actually the official cards. If you look, I just posted. Go check my page. I just posted. But they were $6. It was $2 each. It was a steal.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, well, it probably would have cost me more to do the printing in this case. So I just decided to just get it. And so, yes, I have Obelisk the Tormentor. How do you say their names? Let me look this up. Obelisk the Tormentor, Sly the Sky Dragon, and then the Winged Dragon of Ra.
Yeah.
So yes, I went and I bought those. They were there was $5.99. I don't know if it was a Black Friday thing, but it was $5.99. I looked at it like, you know what? They're holographic. They have some value to me. It's $2 each. I was like, yo. So I just got them. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do it again. The only exception I would make is if I can get a $2 each for Blastoids, Venusaur, and Charizard. I know that ain't gonna happen. So that's probably it. But yeah, I think that's the show. We went an hour and a half. I didn't think we were gonna go an hour and a half. Anything else you want to say before we get up out of here?
There's a VR game for the Titanic where you're a time traveler. It's like sci-fi, and you're trying to like find out what happened to somebody, but you keep teleporting pretty much to the Titanic. You gotta like look for them and survive while it's like starting to flood. It's like called Titanic: The Space in Between or something.
That sounds terrifying, honestly.
Yeah, and it's all VR. So
that's kind of scary to me.
If you want to try and survive the Titanic, if you're like, I would have lived because I'm built different, you can test it out.
All right. That reminds me of the people who were just recently, they tried to go to it. Didn't end too well for them, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, the main gist of this episode, again, check your local spots, local retailers, in stores, some of your main places where you know you've got good deals in the past. I've seen some of the signs. Walmart was the example I gave, where they said they will have exclusive in-store deals. So I don't know if that includes the controllers, but I'm gonna, press my luck a little bit and go out there and see for myself. But anyways, that's all I got for you here. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I will catch you on the next episode. Peace.